Hello and welcome back, my magical friends. I'm your local art fairy, Xelphyna. Today, we're gonna be crashing out. Well, kind of. Today, we will be talking about a struggle I have been having on my art journey. Recently, I've been wanting to start commissions. It is a really exciting thought for me. I believe it's one of the first steps for making my dreams come true. So I started planning how I would price my commissions based on what I would sell. The idea I had in mind was to sell based on how much of the body I would be drawing and the level of coloring. My first step would be create a commission sheet. I thought of asking people online to draw their OCs so I could show example commissions. The problem is that I don't have any online following right now, really. I think if at this point in time I asked people to send me their OCs, I would have no responses. So instead, I decided that using my character as an example would be a perfect reference for potential commissioners. I went ahead and started on drawing my Xelphyna character, as if I was paying myself. My initial line art I thought was cute, but then I started adding color. I felt like what I drew was not even my character. She looked wrong. Be it anatomy other than her feet, I felt as though it looked okay. I think when I was reflecting on it, it was the proportions of the character that felt especially wrong. This realization that I did not like how a commission from myself would turn out made me reflect on what I truly wanted to sell. In doing so, I have to analyze my art process. In a simplified explanation, I typically used to draw a sketch, refine the sketch, add colors, merge, blend, and render on top. Nowadays, coming back to art, I would say instead of refining my initial sketch, I just make a second sketch, almost like a line art layer, and then I follow the same process. I completely understand that finding an art style is not as important as it feels. I do think, though, if I'm going to be selling my art, I should have some kind of consistent art style. That realization really dawned on me. My art style is very inconsistent. I think my art changes a lot depending on my reference or lack thereof. I also think that my style especially varies when I try to draw more of the human figure. I feel as though scaling down a style can be complicated, and it feels like it can change completely. I love the emphasis on eyes, but what if the eyes are not the main focus of the piece? Here are some examples of some bodies I've drawn in the past. I feel like they don't even look like they were drawn by the same person. So I went ahead and did several body studies for my character, none of which particularly felt right. This is where I began spiraling. I either made the character look too big or too small. Also, the face somehow changed every time. Or in general, I just didn't like anything about how the character looked. I think with a lot of the drawings to follow in this video, I struggle with how the face looks a lot. I think it is again bringing that big-eyed anime-ish style to what I want to be semi-realism. I am struggling to find a consistent look that I enjoyed. I would definitely feel torn and like I am false advertising if my character art looks different than piece to piece. I end up pivoting my focus away from the human form and starting experimenting with my style itself. I ended up watching some videos about digital painting and working with color. I was very inspired. In different videos that I watched, they all used a rectangular brush, and which lately I have also been using a lot. I experimented with a vertical rectangular brush and some of the new Procreate brushes. My goal was to attempt to try to heavily lean into digital painting. This was a study in my art style and the use of color and shapes. I have discovered that I have too much of a reliance on lines. I have trouble visualizing the shapes of a human form and the different planes of the face. I understand it conceptually. In practice, it's much harder to visualize. Breaking from these boundaries of lines and painting is definitely a whole style switch up. I once heard somewhere, if you're unsatisfied with your art, then you're on a precipice of a breakthrough, of elevating your art to another level. This isn't to say, never be happy with your art. You're supposed to see it as a set of stairs. Once you climb one stair in your art journey and notice improvement, it feels amazing. But eventually, when you feel as though something needs to change, even if in the moment, you can't define it yet. It means you have another stair to climb, and the process repeats itself. I did not come up with this idea, and I really can't remember where I heard this. But this concept has given me so much inspiration. When I'm feeling down about my art, I almost get excited now because now I have to figure out why, and I know that I'm about to become an even better artist than I am now. I feel now I am stuck on this stair. I know if I allow myself to journey into a more painterly aesthetic, I would become the artist that I think I would naturally have become. Here's where the topic becomes a bit uncomfortable and nuanced to talk about. I do have to make a living and make money, and I would love to do that by doing what I love. So I feel as though I have to find something that I can sell and maybe mass recreate. Here, my journey has been a crossroads. My journey no longer feels personal, and while I could try to sell a more complex painterly style, when I think of commission-based work, typically clientele in my mind have more interest in hiring you for a clear, concise art of their character. On the other hand, I could hyper-focus on my work and sell prints. I really do love drawing other people's OCs though. I think AI is an impactful factor in my thought process as well. I know now that most art styles can be mimicked by AI, including more complex painterly styles. This is quite disheartening, but I still feel passion to at least try to make my dreams come true in some way. In order to focus on which route I want to go down, it's important for me to break down the aspects of art I enjoy creating and enjoy seeing that I possibly don't include in my art yet. What I could identify was I do enjoy creating and looking at a smooth blended style, almost similar to the jelly art style. At the same time, I enjoy rough textured art style that is also unrefined in other areas of the art. I think my final art study attempt is a mixture of those styles. I genuinely do not like how it turned out as well. I think it's how I drew the face. I feel like it's hard to find a style that fits most characters. I think I would like to end in an anime semi-realism type style. I would love to know what you think would be best in the comments below. Shall I explore a painterly semi-realism path or a refined, almost similar to line art style? Let me know what you're more interested in seeing. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.